Hello and welcome to Four Little Bears. I'm Stacy, and today I'm going to go through my craft roulette card that I made for episode 196. The project was Celebrate, Apple Farm Colors, Element of Preserves, and for random, Add a Dog. It's an online card making game show that's on every Friday night. I hope to see you there next Friday. So for episode 196, it was a collaboration between my two absolute favorite YouTube channels, May Made It and Craft Roulette. It was a meeting of the minds. It was amazing. Highly suggest you check them out. I'm going to put both their links down below. So I have to watercolor this one because when I got this in my brain, I didn't know how else I could get this done. And as soon as I heard all of the parameters, this idea popped into my head and I could not get it out of my head. Like, it had to be done. So even though my artistic ability was way below the anticipation of what my brain thought it could handle, and I knew that going in, I was trust me, I have no delusions as far as that's concerned, but I had to try. So yeah, we're trying. And we're trying with a 6-year-old in my lap most of the time. He'll make a cameo appearance, and he makes his own little craft roulette contribution here in a little while. So here I am, just sort of using washes of colors to get the outlines done, and then I'm just going to start in on the places that I am most scared for, and that's the face. So my idea, the idea that first popped into my mind was this little girl and her dog, and they're having a little tea party celebration, and maybe there's a candle on a cupcake. Maybe they're celebrating the dog's birthday. I'm not sure. But just like this little English breakfast tea, maybe not breakfast, but this English tea situation where they're celebrating something. And then the thought on preserves was sometimes you see, like on an English tea setting, they'll have like a little jar of preserves to put onto your little scones and whatnot. So eventually I'm going to add in a tiered tray, and on that tray I'm going to have a little jar of apple preserves. And as far as colors here, Apple Farm was super, super open. Oh, that was Wyatt saying hi. Apple Farms are super, super open. Ah, his head. So Apple Farms are super open because you've got all different kinds of apples. So I was thinking you've got yellow apples, green apples, Fuji apples, red, obviously, just all different colors of apples. So that's kind of where I went with this. I went with green, red, yellow, orange, those kind of color families. So the whole time I'm doing this, I'm debating whether or not I'm going to be outlining this. I wanted this to be really soft, so I'm taking sort of a softer approach, almost like I do when I make my landscapes. So I'm trying to find that medium in between, still looking soft, but still having detail. And I'm kind of struggling a bit. I'm definitely gonna practice this kind of thing because I've never done anything like this before, so it's something I definitely need to practice. Wyatt's little hand pointing at stuff again. So the whole time I'm doing this, Wyatt's in here with me, talking to me about, you know, life and all, everything. And as you can see, he's pointing at things, telling me what I need to add. So he's my little helper here. He's helping me out. And he eventually gets very super anxious because he wants to paint too now, and it's gonna be his turn. I'm gonna struggle with this face for a little bit before I decide to abandon the thought of it being a little girl, and now she's a doll. Wyatt found a die of some scissors. Also, I don't record my video audio together. My audio on my camera is awful, so I just delete that. So this whole time Wyatt is talking to you guys like you can hear him. Even though I told him it's not recording audio, he's still trying to say hi and show you things. It was pretty cute. So doing the fabric on this is what I feel like I actually do sort of know how to do, because it sort of comes into my, I don't know, I guess maybe when I make landscapes I can sort of figure out shades and shading of things like this. So this part I feel pretty confident with. No idea what way it's pointing to. And of course my big ol' hand is in the way while I'm doing the tier tray. This is the liner effect that I was planning on doing to the entire piece. Like a soft liner effect. And I don't know. I'm never done with the painting. I still might come in and add more details. So anytime I feel not confident in this painting, which is a lot, I go back to the draping because I feel like that's what I know what to do. And I noticed that that's kind of what I did, was every time I was feeling unconfident, I was just like, let me work on these drapes a little bit more while I think about what to do next. I just now realized that the way I hold my brush, you can't see what I'm doing, can you? Apparently I hold a brush like a Neanderthal. It's a really good thing that watercolors dry quickly. As you can see, his little hands come in there all the time and touching it. So right about now, Wyatt's getting super antsy and wanting it to be his turn. So I'm gonna mess up this cupcake a couple times and then I'm gonna give up for tonight. And I'll let Wyatt have his turn. Well, I guess I do a couple more things first. So I do put the preserves in there first before I call it a night. So here's Wyatt. He's gonna start painting in just a minute here, deciding what he wants to paint. He's talking to you guys. I keep telling him that there's nothing on it, but he keeps. He's still talking to you guys. So for Apple Farm, he is making some trees. I believe they're going to be apple trees. He's making this one look like a little heart. I've sped him way up for you guys, but I just thought it was so cute that he wanted to do a watercolor for this episode too. And so for him, I used a different kind of watercolors. I let him use whatever was already on my palette, didn't change the palette. But then when he needed more colors, the wet watercolors, if that makes sense, the liquid ones, they work better for kids because they don't have to worry about, you know, how much water they're putting on the brush in order to get a nice amount of pigment. It's just straight up pigment, and that's what they want. They don't really, especially, at least he doesn't really need much shading. He just wants a lot of pigment on his brush. This is my favorite part of our time together, is when I just get to play backup. I just get to give him things he needs, and he gets to kind of play, and it's just so fun. It's just taking care of what he needs, changing out his water when it gets too brown, kind of showing him how much water to put on the paper. This is just so fun. And here's the artist himself saying hi to everybody. So this is the next day, magically. With some resin supplies out. Because I may have done some resining. So again, I'm going to lament the idea of whether or not I should add in traditional outlines to this. Honestly, I'm still not 100% sure if I should have or not. I'm going back and forth on that right now. But in the end, I decided I didn't want to ruin it. So I'm going to put in the thing I forgot to put in the night before, which was a teapot. I 100% meant to have a teapot in that scene and then just didn't get it done. So I'm going to add that in now and kind of try to fix the cup in her hand. And again, fix that cupcake because I am fixated on getting that cupcake right. In the end, I don't, but it's acceptable. And I also should have cleaned my palette so I had my colors back. So now I'm just going to go in with some florals and add some little floral details. Kind of bring some life to the picture. But in the end, I keep it really simple because honestly, I'm really afraid of messing it up at this point. You know, one thing about me, it is that I can push things way too far. I don't ever like to give up on something and then I just can push it way over the edge of no return. Thank you guys so much for sticking around. This was my Craft Roulette contribution for episode 196, Project Celebrate, Colors Apple Farm, Element Preserves, and Add a Dog. I think I got that done. Not my best, but I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. Hope you guys have a great week. Stay blessed.